Hello, everybody. How's it going, all my peoples? How's it going? Good evening. Bonsoir, tout le monde. Comment nous y est? Comment nous y est, tout le monde? Et m'a souhaité que tout le monde passe un bel dimanche. I am hoping and praying that everyone had a good Sunday. Had a good Sunday today. We will have a very interesting live, a live that I know and feel that deep in my heart that you all would definitely enjoy. Very informative. We have some good people on, and I want you all to welcome our guests as I introduce them. And kindly share the live, you all. Share the live. Today, we will be discussing a different point of view about Haiti, a different point of view. So, you all share the live with others and get more people on the live. If you all have questions, definitely feel free to ask. If anyone is interested in wanting to learn to speak Creole, I am working on starting a class where I teach Creole. I currently have 2 students in class, okay? So if anyone is interested in learning to speak Creole, my young Haitian Americans, Canadian Americans that would like to speak Creole, please get in contact with me. I want to thank each and every one of you all also for supporting my last video, for being understanding to it. I would discuss more about that at a later time. But today, you all, I want you all to get ready to welcome our guests. Share the live, you all, and let's get more people on the live. Let's get more people. Marie, how's it going? Hello, my sister Marie Clary, my sister Caroline, my sister Marie New Guest, sister Kay. Hello, you all. How's it going, Mr. Jeffrey Jackson? Hello, Mr. Seal, Martine, George. Hi, Marie. Bon dimanche. La Belle. Say hello, hello. My sister Arlene, my brother Edson. How y'all doing? In the house, in the house. Conservative Black Little T. Marie, you should come back to the U.S. now that Biden is letting everyone in. Black Little T, that's not true. All right, you all. So let's get ready to welcome our guests. We have 2 guests coming on the show tonight. Please share the live with others, and let's get more people on the live. Hello, you all. How's it going?
It's going great, bonsoir.
Bonsoir. Oh, habla con ti. Déjà habla con ti créole sous nous tout. Hello, Mr. Bland. Are you able to hear me?
Bonsoir. Yes, ma'am, I am.
That's right. All right. So, you all, we have Miss Javon Muhammad, who recently came into Haiti. And we also have Mr. Bland, who is a Haitian descendant. And let's just go with the show. Ladies first, Mr. Bland. So you'll be up next in a minute and actually get to introduce yourself. So, my sister Javon, introduce yourself and tell the people a little bit about you.
Sure. Well, I'm Javon Muhammad, and I am from California by way of Louisiana and then by way of Haiti. So I also have family now living in Haiti in Baradere, which is why I took my last trip to Haiti after the earthquake, because my family's house in Haiti collapsed. And so recently with a friend of mine, Rolando, we went out and we took tents and tarps and did all kind of work to try to do our part to help people heal and rebuild there. I'm also a midwife by training, so I went to do some medical relief work, and that is really that's me and my attachment to Haiti. Oh, maybe
Were you waiting on me, Miss Marie?
maybe a little bit of delay. Remember, she mentioned the delay.
Okay.
I'll do the same and turn my camera off to help. So I know before we went live, Marie mentioned that there was a little bit of shakiness with the internet, so that this may happen, and she would pop back in. Blaine, maybe you should just also discuss your connection with him.
Introduce myself.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. My name is Blaine Celestine, and I am a Haitian descendant. My connection begins my father's side. My folks left from Haiti at that time during the Haitian Revolution and came to Louisiana. And I grew up knowing that we so that's the quick snippet about me. Hey, Miss Marie, you back, huh?
I'm back, and I thank you all so much for keeping going. As my internet in Haiti, you all come in and out. So I didn't really get to hear what you shared, but I'm hoping, did you get to share, Mr. Bland, a little bit of your background and what got you interested? Now, what got you interested to begin with, wanting to know your heritage and where you're from, your roots? What steered that interest?
Well, it's kind of like what Bob Marley is famous for saying: "He who feels it knows it."
Hmm.
My
He who.
grandparents are keen on
Mhm.
telling us, "He who feels it knows it." If you keeping your responsibility, I'm gonna kill my camera just so maybe we can it'll help with the lag some. But yeah, so my grandparents were keen on letting us know that our people came from Haiti during the time of the Haitian Revolution. And on my mother's side, we actually had the story of the experience of the people on the boat. So our oldest relative was a man named Nonk Beb, and his I think it was either his uncle or his father was a little boy on the boat. This is for me as I remember it from him telling me. So it may have been his grandfather who was on the boat. But anyway, he said that when they came to Louisiana, they were in a storm and they had to throw all of their belongings over and in order for the boat to make it here. So when they got here, they had nothing but the clothes on their backs. And we would just my brother and my first cousin, who is like my sister, uh we would just sit around and just listen to these stories, not only about that. So this was probably like the mid 70s, and for me there was nothing but the highest respect for Haiti, even though I didn't know anything about the Haitian Revolution really. But just knowing that people fought for their freedom, my people fought for their freedom and came here to this country and fought for their freedom, it meant a lot to me. And on my father's side, it was a similar scenario, though we didn't have the actual story from anybody, but we knew that my ancestor Jose Celestine came here from Haiti during the Haitian Revolution. Always tell us that we came from Senegal, so that's was part of our mythos in our family that traveled down, and from a little boy, you know, that meant something to me to be able to have that story to identify. And when people ask me, you know, who are you, where are you from, you know, the fact that we were in America, which is also part of my story, but I had something more to tell them than that.
Looks like she dropped off again, Blaine, shortly. So
I am here. I'm
There
here.
she is.
okay, good.
I'm here. I'm listening. Hearing
Okay.
your story and getting to be familiar with knowing that you are Haitian. Because I brought you on the show because we had such interesting the conversation was very interesting. And I feel like it's okay to open up to be able to share some of the knowledge which you have, because I want to come from way back then with you to now with Haiti. Share with, I mean, with throughout the studies, all right, you seem to be a history freak like myself. What have you learned about Haiti as far as the Haitian people, our strength? What's behind us, and what makes you proud to say that you are Haitian?
Yes, yes. Well, um, you know, when I was a little when I was a boy in the 80s, it was difficult to be proud to be Haitian because old people were coming into Florida, and you know, my friends, I remember my brother and I sometimes, you know, would get into these big arguments and maybe even come to blows with people about being Haitian, you know, because they want to make fun of us. And you know, older, I went to LSU. I had some friends of mine. I wasn't a student there, but I had friends who were students there, and they were taking a Black history class. And the professor in that class uh, asked me to introduce myself, and I told him who I was, and I told him, you know, what my that we'd come here from Haiti during the time of the Haitian Revolution, and that we were not slaves when we got here, that we had left slavery there. And when we got here, we weren't slaves from time to this time. And we were given a plot of land uh, in a place called Mamou, Louisiana. And he told me that was impossible. And I wasn't the only person who had that type of a story. I had a good friend of mine. She was or is a Ruffin, and she had a similar story, you know. And I knew people, you know, other people who had similar stories. So, but I never had the documentation until I ran into a document that talked about our governor, or one of our governors here in Louisiana. His name was Claiborne. That he had written to Thomas Jefferson and asked Thomas Jefferson to stop the Haitians from coming from Haiti because they were causing problems. Had come into the province in like a 10-year span or a 7-year span, and that had doubled the population of New Orleans. So what that made me understand is, if that happened in the late 1800s, the late 1700s, early 1800s, and it doubled the population of New Orleans, anybody younger than 100 is Haitian. If your family has been in New Orleans for 100,
Oh man.
to Haiti, because those people doubled that population. And when you read the records, it says that it was split almost by thirds. There was a white folks connection. You had the whites brought some slaves with them, okay, and then you had some free blacks, and those free blacks may have been of whatever complexion, right? So, so that proved that it was true. Uh, okay, I just got a message said that my internet is breaking up, so I don't know how much of this y'all getting.
You may continue. You may continue. Are you still here?
Are you getting it, Miss Marie?
I hear you fine on my end. I do hear you fine on my end. Um, you all let me know if
Okay,
you all
good,
can
good.
hear
Well,
him.
um, if you hear me fine on your end, when you do the final posting there, God willing. But yeah, so family story, sides, my mother's side and my father's side. And when I think about it now, I understand he said we as African people in the diaspora and continental Africans, we do not control our we are taking the story from other people who are presenting it. We still good, Marie?
I'm hearing you. I'm hearing you
Okay,
well.
all right. We're taking the story from other people who are presenting it with the intention of making us to feel bad about ourselves. So so we almost like waddle in the sad parts of our story, and we don't think about it for its power, for its strength. So what went on with the Haitian people and the Haitian revolution, is a strength for all people in the diaspora, all black people in the diaspora, and everybody drew on it. If you look at why did Claiborne write Thomas Jefferson? He wrote to Thomas Jefferson because the blacks that were coming from Haiti were making the blacks in New Orleans and all over that part of Louisiana, making them feel like, hey, we should fight for ourselves too. You see? Now, if we back up a minute into what made Haiti so special, Haiti was the place where they sent a large collection of rebellious Africans. And a lot of those Africans were educated people. When we look at Bookman, why was Bookman called Bookman? Because he could read and because he knew the book. You know, we look at Makandal in Haitian history. He was he was also highly educated, and he is what we would call today a doctor. All of those people were educated. Makandal himself, the story is that it was his aunt who taught him. So it's the women and the men who were educated, and they wanted something better for themselves, and they were sent there, sometimes from other places. Like there's a lot of people who came from Jamaica to Haiti, and Haiti was sort of seen as the last stop, the place where, you know, if we can't do nothing with you anywhere, we send you to Haiti. We're going to sell you off to Haiti, because people don't last long when they go to Haiti, right? But what that did was it brought the right mix of people together to actually defeat the French, actually to actually defeat some colonizers. So, you know, all of that, I got that part of the picture when I was 40 years old. So it took me from a little kid at 5 years old all the way to 40 years old to get the view that I now have, and the understanding that I have, that we have to be in control of our story, and we have to understand the facts as they benefit us and teach it to our children as it benefits us. Don't let other people tell our story and control how we feel about ourselves. I'm gonna take a break
So,
right
Mr.
there.
Bland, you okay. But before you take a break, I'm about to head to Javen. But you mentioned it took the rebellious people, right?
Yes,
That
ma'am.
was sent to Haiti, that they were putting together, that ultimately led us to freedom. And this freedom, you know, as I pay attention to the news in Haiti and I hear all of the things that they have to say about Haiti, then I realize people must not know who we are. And the minute we figure out who we are as Haitian people, we would walk different, we would talk different, the confidence level would be different. How do you think that rebellious group was able to do something so remarkable on earth? How do you think they were able to accomplish that?
Well, you know, first of all, they had to be asked the right question, you know, and Dessalines had a way of asking the right question to the people. You know, he asked them, you know, do you want to live free or die? And then after they attained freedom, you know, he asked them, I don't want to mess this up. He said, we have dared to be free. Let us be free for ourselves. No, let's be free by ourselves, for ourselves. And, you know, if we look at the intention behind the words here, you know, and we bring that forward, let's bring that forward to the 90s when the brothers started the clothing line and they said it's for us, by us, FUBU, right? Dessalines told you that about everything about your life. He said it's for you, by you. Okay, we have to be free for ourselves and also by ourselves, because freedom is not a destination. Freedom is a condition, and we are treating freedom all over the diaspora, all over, you know, in Africa. We are treating it as a destination, like we ran and we slid into home base. We slid into freedom. And now that we're here, nobody can touch us. No, it's a condition. It means you have to maintain it. You have to look ahead. You are driving the freedom car, the freedom boat, the freedom plane. You have to look ahead and make sure that you're not going to run into a mountain or into a storm or into any type of trouble. because the same enemies who want to oppress you, who want to bring you out of the condition of freedom, they still exist. So that's what happened with those Haitians. That right mix of people will ask the right question and they answered it in the right way. We are willing to be free or die, and we are willing to be free by ourselves, for ourselves. We have to answer that same question now. The question still remains.
We have to be free for ourselves, by ourselves. E pou m di sa tou an kreol, se pou nou genyen freedom nan, pou nou, pou tet nou. Pou tet nou. Okay? I really, really wish I could translate it more so that some of our Haitian followers that do not speak English will be able to hear some of this, because a lot of Haitians are not getting, they do not know their history. They don't know who they are. And that is one of the reasons why we see a lot of what we are seeing right now that is going on in Haiti. Okay. We are focusing on what other people need to do for us. However, like you said, it takes for us to condition ourselves. Freedom is not a destination, it's a condition, right? Wow.
That's right.
So my
That's
sister,
right.
Javen,
Mhm.
how you doing?
I'm good. I'm
All
doing
Well,
right.
sister, before you go to Javon, I just want to say something. I asked Javon to get this book by Madame Bello so that we could show this book. And I just want to say that I am very proud to be in the presence of two sheroes. Madame Bello wrote this book about the sheroes of the Haitian Revolution, and I'm very pleased to be in the presence of two sheroes right now, and to show the people that book that was also written about a shero, or written by a shero of the Haitian Revolution, because the struggle continues. The revolution is still going on for this freedom. So go ahead. I'm sorry.
Two sheroes. What a great description, right? Well, my sister Javon, I'm glad to have you on the show. And I'm pretty sure a lot of people are waiting to hear you talk. And I'm gonna let you kind of introduce yourself, step in, start saying before I go in asking the questions.
Okay. Well, I shared a little bit earlier that I've been to Haiti a couple of times. I come because, well, I'm fascinated with Haitians because I think Haitians are super people. Like, I can't, I don't know how to say it different. I work in healthcare, and recently coming back from Haiti, all the talk is around COVID. And so people wanted to know how Haiti was doing with COVID. And really didn't
Don't
want.
say that word.
Okay,
Don't
sorry.
say don't
Didn't
say that
really.
word.
Okay, I won't say it again. Didn't
Just
really
say the
want to
pandemic, okay?
believe
All right. It's
believe
okay.
how well the people
It's
are
okay.
doing, and so we talked a lot about how Haitians live, how active they are, how I mean, when I come to Haiti, I see people much older than me climbing mountains with water on the head and things on the back, and just active, just strong. I think and when I think of Haitians, I think about strong, dynamic, resilient, and beautiful people. I am blessed to have ancestry in Haiti, like I said, on my dad's side in Bardere, and I can visit them now. And when I go, I mean, I have a cousin that's much older than me that climbs coconut trees and throws coconuts down. So when you asked about what we thought about Haitians, and I will just say that I'm always just fascinated by the strength, the beauty, the resilience, the culture, the food, just everything. And so it's my pleasure to be connected to Haiti in any way that I could be connected to Haiti. I don't know. So I'll say that the last time that I was in Haiti, I not the last time with after the earthquake, but the time before that, I was able to visit the Citadel, and I also was so impressed and amazed by the history of the Citadel. And as we went to the Citadel, just learning about the history, I think also something strong for me is that Haitian history is a continuance of resilience. So while you're learning about it, you continue to learn about resilience in community. Hello.
I'm back. I'm back. My internet, you all comes in and out. I do apologize. Y'all know it is life in Haiti. You know what it's like in Haiti.
Yes, yes.
So, since we have two sheroes in the house, okay, one of the things I think as soon as I kind of saw your face, your features, being fascinated with Haitians, having been in Haiti, I really, really wanted to like interact with you and talk to you about when you come to Haiti, how are you viewed? And I'm going to elaborate a little bit. You all, please share the live. Please share the live.
So it looks like we lost both of them for a brief moment. I actually know a little bit about what Marie was going to ask. We talked about it before because I spoke about colorism before coming on the show and how I felt about colorism in Haiti. And so I'll just go on and speak about that, and hopefully she will be back on soon. Oh, hear it. I was just going to go ahead and just talk about my
I'm back.
perception of colorism when you dropped off.
I'm back. Nothing but the devil. Are you able to hear me?
Yes. Hmm. So I can hear you.
Okay, so let me ask the question because I'm fighting with my internet tonight. Before we proceed, you all please share the. Okay, that's good. Please share the live, you all, with others. Let's get more.
There we go.
There we go. There we go. Javon, are you able to hear me?
I can hear you. I'm gonna keep my camera off though. Maybe that'll help a little bit.
Okay, okay. And I'll do the same. So
Okay.
I wanted you to share your experience because I have spoken on the show several times about how in Haiti at times we are somewhat prejudiced against our own. Did you find it coming into Haiti being light skinned? What was your experience like?
So, I did well, especially because I hang out more in the South than Port-au-Prince. I feel like I'm definitely different, and people notice. But I don't think that I'm mistreated because of it. I actually think for me, what's more disturbing is colorism from people who look like me to Haitians that are darker than me, and I'm disturbed when I come because. For example, I don't really like to hang in Port-au-Prince going up the hill in Pétionville because I feel like as you go up the hill, you can feel the change. You can see the people change. You can see the resources change. And when you think about America and the history of Blacks in America, we talk about, white supremacy in the white man. And sadly, even though white supremacy affects the general politics of the world, and so Haiti would be involved, in Haiti, there's no proverbial white man. People who look like me can be the one acting as the white man. And so I would say that I have always felt safe and welcomed in Haiti. I have stayed in the countryside and, you know, been blessed to be with family and feel like family to those who I meet, while being disturbed by people considered mulattoes, or I don't know, mixed people who control the resources. And I think that is not right, and it's oppression, and I would think it would come more from my side. I don't know if I was fully clear on that, but I haven't been mistreated. I think that people who look like me are doing a lot of the mistreatment, because when we look at it at the end of the day, it's really about control of resources.
Do you think that people of light skin, do you think that they have a feel of superiority over the Haitian people? Do you think that
Absolutely.
a lot of them behave as if, because, and I say that because I kind of pay attention a lot to different people in Haiti. And one thing I realize is that you have a lot of people bleaching their skin trying to look like a certain audience, which we're all made uniquely special, exactly how God wants us. But I find it that, a lot of the more lighter skin, when you like go in the store, it's as if like they're so much better than everyone else. Did you
Absolutely.
notice that in Haiti?
Absolutely. And that is indicative of white supremacy in general, right? Like the closer you are to white, the more access to resources or benefit, that one has, or at least one thinks they have. And when you look at the history of Haiti, this all makes sense, even though it's unfair, right? So the murder of Dessalines, the founding of community around Pétionville, the resources, who owns the import business, who sells the new cars, like the people who have access to the economy, um, you know, feel that they're superior, and some of it is grasping to a world that they didn't want to give up. Like if you, just the whole murder of Dessalines and the events around that, and wanting to have the wealth of their father, even though their father was a slaver, was a slave owner. That wealth was at the violence and oppression of the Haitian people. So I think as we look around the globe, there's white supremacy, and that definitely is played out very clearly in Haiti. Like I said, even sadder than the comparisons I make with the white man to the black man is the idea that a person who comes from black could have that kind of oppression against other black people. You know, I come from jet black people, so I feel like the standard of beauty is a jet black woman. That's the woman of the woman that is the mother of everybody. So I don't have any confusion around that. I just, when I think about Haiti and I think about freedom and people being free, you know, as an outsider, and I'm thinking about it and talking about it with friends, I really think that there has to come to a point where the majority of the Haitians kind of figure out who they're dealing with. Like, how do we get equity? It's almost like in Africa when some of the African presidents finally had to tell the Dutch, like, you don't get to control all the wealth. Basically, we're going to have to remove you from this area because there should be a fair distribution of equity. Really, you're not entitled to any of it because you're not African. But since you're here and since you've been oppressing people, we're going to talk about equitable division. I know that Haiti is not Africa and there are politics unique to Africa, but it's not right for one group of people to control the resources, you know, while another group of people are preyed upon. And so absolutely, colorism is alive in Haiti. Absolutely, lighter skinned people are controlling resources. It's not fair, and something has to be done if we're going to talk about equity and if we're going to talk about who should be in control of Haitian resources.
Wow. Well said, my sister. Well said, Javon. I mean, wow. So let's go into the audience a little bit. Let's interact with everybody and see what some of the questions people may have. Conservative Black Little T says, it is a great history surrounding the Louisiana Purchase. The American people wanted Haitian people to fight side by side with them against the British people. Wow. They selected Haitian people because they considered Haitians to be strong fighters, being at the time the only country to take back their country from the French.
Yes.
Absolutely agree. Free for ourselves and by ourselves and continue to maintain. Now, and you or Mr. Bland can, or both can choose to answer this question with the state that Haiti is in at this point. We're looking at the violence, a lot of the stuff that's going on in Haiti. Where do you think this is gonna go? And do you think there are stronger forces that is behind some of the stuff which we are watching all over the news?
Well, absolutely, there are you know, forces behind the condition of the Haitian people and poor people everywhere on the globe, and they are given the propaganda that we take as truth. You know, the fact that the Haitian gourd is not equal to the American dollar or the euro or the base currency of any nation, any African nation, is not equal to, and some of them are so far behind the dollar that it is crazy. Like I meant to look it up to see what, you know, how many gourds does it take to make a dollar, but the narrative that they sell us on is that your currency is not worth what the dollar is because of the products or the worth of your nation or something like that, right? But all nations pay their debt to the World Bank based upon the taxes, the backs, the labor of the people of that particular nation. And if I dig a hole with a shovel here in America, and a brother digs a hole in Haiti, and another one digs it in the Philippines and in Africa, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, I'm going to consume the same amount of calories digging that hole as they will. So my worth and their worth is the same. But when you break people down and say that the value of your money is not worth the same, then what you're really saying is that you are not worth the same as me. And that is the basis of the oppression that affects all so-called third world nations. It's the dehumanization of the people through through their base currency, the worth of their base currency. You know, and so what we have to do, everyone, you know, we're talking about Haiti here, so we're going to keep the subject centered in Haiti. But it's the same if we're talking about any other place where people that look like us live. We have to be willing to say no, whatever it is that they want from you, because they're there. They're there. They are mining out of the resources of Haiti. Okay. We have to be able to say no to them, like the Haitian farmers said to Monsanto. When Monsanto brought seeds there, the Haitian farmers said, no, we don't want these seeds because they're not good for our environment. You know, we have to be courageous about that on all levels, not one level, and say, listen, if we're going to suffer and we're going to die on our own terms. But you don't get what you have come here to get. You don't get that anymore. Otherwise, they will continue to manipulate us on every little level and make it seem like, well, the reason why you can't get gas is because of so-and-so's fault. And the reason why you can't get bread is because of so-and-so's fault, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And we constantly fighting each other about things that don't matter, you know, like color or religion, or, you know, I say color, I mean complexion, or religion, or any other of those subjects, without looking at the hand that's in the background controlling everything. Javon?
I mean, I would say that, but I would also say there has to be some kind of understanding and unity, though. And so, if you have some Haitians who are supporting gangs, and so what I've learned, and you all tell me if I'm wrong because you know you are the experts, but while I was in Haiti the last time, I learned that in the same fashion I was just talking about colorism, I learned that in Pétionville there's a lot of political will and money, and so. That group were offended by the president who you know on all the events around that. They had the power to bring in gangs and people from other countries to push forward their agenda. And so I'm just saying that if there are some people with power and clout in Haiti that can pay and use gangs at their disposal, then there's a disconnect. Because the first thing is that, you know, Black folks in gangs have to learn that you can't prey on other Black folks. And that may look ugly and it may look bloody, but it has to happen soon, because the problem has to be squashed soon. And it should be done, if it can't be done by community, by the Haitian military and the Haitian government. But if the government is divided and there are breaks and there are people who are actually using these gangs for their own benefit, then you don't get the unity that you're talking about, where the whole gang problem could be squashed. So for me, it all goes back to establishing equity and power, shared power in Haiti, and shared values. Like, who are the people who are being kidnapped and why? And I'm not talking about this missionary group of people who got kidnapped. I'm talking about when gangs in Haiti kidnap other people who look like them and punish other people who look like them and cause chaos in the country when the country is trying to be stabilized. Like, that has to be squashed for any of these unity activities to happen, because there's going to be fear and instability while they grow and become powerful. And what you don't want is them to grow and become powerful.
Wow. So a lot of people have a lot to say about missionaries. I wouldn't consider myself a missionary, but I am one that's big on doing community work. Do you? I know, even though I love doing community work, but I know that's not half of Haiti's problems. You mentioned equity. What are some things that you think need to be put in place to get this country moving forward? You know, people are saying that Haiti's not going to change. I don't want to believe it, because we have millions of people in this country that are waiting to see a change. What are some things that needs to be put in place to get this country moving forward?
So I would say the way that white supremacy works is that there has to be value in the Western system for them to contribute anything. I'm very offended by the idea that missionaries go to other countries. In this case, we're talking about Haiti, and they offer services like water. I came into a whole group of people who were water for Haiti. But in order to get that water, you need to profess Christianity or Catholicism or whatever the religion is that they bring with them. I think that's being a predator, especially, you know, not to speak on religion now, because people are all kinds of religions. But when you come from a country that is not historically Christian and you say, to get this water, which you need for life, I'm going to need you to follow Jesus, to get your child educated, to get the resources that you need for very life, I will give them to you. But you have to take this Bible and you have to conform to what it is we believe. I believe that's an act of war. That's not how the Haitians won the revolution. They didn't do it through Christianity. They did it through their culture, their belief system, their unity. And so I was kicked out of the Citadel a few years ago because while in the Citadel learning about the amazing Haitian history and learning about Dessalines and Christophe, there was a large missionary group in there singing the Star Spangled Banner, which is an American war song, right? And so, you know, the group I was with, and there was about 20 of us, took issue with them singing, the appropriateness of them singing that song in the Citadel. We got into a big to-do. It was huge. And we ended up being put out of the Citadel. One of the things I remember, because the white folks didn't get put out, the missionaries didn't get put out. They continued with their disrespect. But one of the things I remember was that the Haitian tour group that was with the white missionary group looked us dead in the face and said, you can't do anything for Haiti. Why does it matter? You can't do anything for Haiti. And to me, that is part of the solution. Black people from other places, from other countries, need to come and do the work and to help the Haitians. That's real unity. Like, if we want to complain about white folks coming in and teaching other than, you know, what the Haitians are and forward in white supremacy, then we have to do something. We have to feel connected. And I only think that's one strategy. I think the Haitians have a lot of what they need. I think instead of inviting people in to have access to children, because I read the other day that missionary group where 17 people are being held captive, one of their members molested many Haitian boys. And that church has paid some Haitian families $10,000 each and hasn't even covered, you know, what would be repair, which it couldn't be repaired to the other families. So I'm saying people, if they really want to see you do well, if they really want to correct some of their error, they can support what the Haitians are doing. Hey, it's clear that Haiti needs a solar program. When I was in Jacmel, I thought if everything just had solar lights at night, it would be lit up. Send us the resources, allow us to lead, allow us to plan, but you don't have to come and you don't have to bring that foolishness and try to change who we are to be connected to what you want us to be so you can continue to steal. And I think that when the Haitians, as Haitians get stronger and stronger and stronger and really identify what the things are that they need, a different kind of request can be made once more and more information comes out about the pillaging of the natural resources of Haiti, about the lack of support and the plan around the country. Then those things will become more obvious.
Wow, my sister, you said a mouthful. One thing, I believe Jesus Christ is my Lord and Savior, but I am not one that pushes religion up on people because everyone should have the freedom. Because religion we know can cause war. But a lot of the times, I think that people get so caught up in religion that they forget relationship. Now, you mentioned give it to us and we will do what we need to do. Now, I think that's part of the problem. Do we have people that are operating under integrity that is supposed to be representing us? Because that is one of the biggest problems that we have. I believe that a lot has been given to us, but are we operating with integrity and doing exactly what we are supposed to do to see this country moving forward?
There has to be
Anytime.
That's how we started, saying that within the government there has to be some accountability, and that's something that only Haitians can do. If you allow Americans into that, Americans will be about how the Western white world can benefit. So I think, there is, someone wrote on there needs to be a second revolution, and that's true, but it has to start with a change in ideas and integrity, and accountability, and then and a plan, and then an ask. Because yes, maybe things have been given to Haiti, but they haven't been given with no strings attached, and that's one of the reasons why there keeps being that level of corruptness, because there's the soul has to be sold to deal with the Western world. You have to sell your soul, and so if they give, they expect. If they have entrance, they steal. One time I was in Cuba not too long ago, and I learned some things that I didn't know about Guantanamo. And one of the things I learned was the Cubans told me that in that zone that they have with those little mines, I thought we were taught, like, America is there, America has their base there. The Cubans said, we put those mines there. Those mines are outside of the U.S. base because we know Americans steal. And if we don't surround them with mines, they will steal land. And I'm just using that as an example. It's like, as the world gets smarter, then the cat is out the bag. And there's a full public acknowledgement that there is nothing given without something that is expected. And that something is usually something that is not good for the country.
Wow. Would you like to elaborate, Mr. Bland?
Well, I just want to say that, I agree with everything the sister said. And, it comes back to Dessalines' statements, Dessalines' question, the question of equity is are we free by ourselves, for ourselves? So when the sister is talking about, the distribution of wealth and the distribution of resources, and just the common human respects that should be placed on people, and their dignity, it's just proof that, hey, we are ignoring Dessalines. If in fact that's the case, and I believe that's the case, because that's what I'm hearing from the people that are there in Haiti, and the people that have gone over there to Haiti, that this colorism still exists, and that the disparity in the resources and everything still exists, and this type of predatory missionaryism still exists. There's a song that was popular in the 80s in Jamaica, and it said, "Aid travels with a bomb. Watch out. Aid travels with a bomb." So back then they were still they were talking about the same thing. You know, they're not giving aid for the sake of benefiting the people. They want something, you know. So we just have to we we have to take this all the way down on a molecular level, and we have to push these thoughts and conditions, these standard operating procedures into the babies, you know, into the youths that say, listen, this is how you move going forward. You know, otherwise, when they get to where we are, they'll be making the exact same mistakes that we are making as a people.
And I just want to add, because there's someone on here, Nora's Mission, and she's saying I'm a missionary, and this kind of talk is unsettling. But this kind of talk is not an attack on an individual missionary. If you're doing good work, do good work, but also be reminded that good work still allows people to have their own belief system. If you want to feed somebody that's starving, if you want to take care of a child, that should be with no strings attached. You know, whatever they believe is what they believe. And if that's the work you're doing, then this conversation is not about you at all. This conversation is respecting that there was life outside of and before white people even made it to the planet. There were people who existed. There are bodies that were found in Africa before there was a written record of the white man. So there was not white supremacy. And so we just have to remember that if our intention is really to help people, to help people, to give them the necessities, to give them dignity, then we can do that while allowing them to be themselves and without the mindset that our way is better. If you believe in Jesus Christ, you believe in Jesus Christ, right? But that doesn't mean that someone in Brazil might believe, you know, the same that you believe. But if we all are doing, practicing what we say we believe, even if it's different, if we're actually practicing it, we should all be in the same alignment. Because usually all of those religions come with treating someone as you want to be treated. And doing good work and being a good person. So we should be more focused on that instead of pushing an agenda of white supremacy, which makes us sick. Literally, physically, data shows that through epigenetics, Black people across the world are suffering from the effects of white supremacy and what that has done to us on a cellular level. So in our missions, we should be now at a point where we can recognize that and do other work, because Haiti does not deserve to be offered life in exchange for their soul.
And you know, we also you know, we need to deal with this myth that that we as African people were introduced to Prophet Jesus, peace be upon him, when we were taken into slavery. That's not true. On the slave ship, there was every indigenous African religion on the western side and even into the interior of Africa. But there was also Christians. There were people that were Hebrews, and there were Muslims. And most of the slave revolts that they remark about, you know, written in South America, in the Caribbean, and everything, were people of all of those religious beliefs working together. You know what I mean? So we weren't introduced to Christianity, maybe individually. If somebody was Yoruba or Ifa or something like that, and then they had never heard of Prophet Jesus, okay. But as a people, no, on that boat, in that in that oppression, in that middle passage, you know, coming across, and even to this day, we are all oppressed together the same way. The same way.
It's no
You know,
religion.
so
No religion.
so the religion is irrelevant. I need roads. I need roads, food, education, electricity, water. I need all those things, whether no matter what religion I am. You know, so but what are we oppressed by? And so if somebody is oppressing you, regardless of what religion it is, you know what I mean? If they're using the religion as a way to oppress you, then we should call them out on that, regardless of what religion it is.
Wow.
I'm through.
Okay, so let's go to the audience. And we know that religion is a big thing. We can go in definitely to do something good, but we should give everyone that freedom to where they have the ability to choose, you know, and regardless whatever religion we come into, you all mentioned what's going on with the missionaries, and I have actually been reading about it. Please share the live, you all, and give the live a like if you've yet to do so. Please share the live. Honestly, it broke my heart so much because number one, I am a mother, and hearing that someone representing God can do that, you realize why a lot of times I'm running across people and they're telling me that, you know, their discomfort with church, with this, with that, you know, and all of that to me is moral conduct. It's not about religion. Certain things, you all, is just, you know, morally it's not the right thing to do and you shouldn't do it regardless of what you believe in. Whether you are atheist, you're a Muslim, whether you Christianity, whatever, Buddhism, whatever you are, you know there are certain things that is unacceptable. You know, and I don't know. That subject to me is a pretty touchy subject. It's a touchy subject. Let's go into the audience. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan says the white folks of yesterday is the same white folks that are bred in a theory that they are the chosen, and it's a perpetrated is perpetrated from generation.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Wilson Jean, welcome to the live tonight. At Conservative Black Little T, no Haitians did not fight for America. So they become Americans. They fought because they were against injustice and ready to help for others to gain their freedom. Wow. Marie, let Haitian people read about the Louisiana Purchase. Although it wasn't emphasized. It tells how people from Haiti migrated to the U.S. and also references lots of brilliant Haitian people. Very true. We do have so many brilliant Haitian people that do not get the credit that they should get as far as today. Hold on a second. Tizo says Haitians fought in Savannah, Georgia. There's a lot of history. The question is, what can Haitian do to stay current in today's economy? Good question, Mr. Tizo asked. Would you all like to elaborate on that?
I got to fall back on that because I have an opinion, but it's not an educated opinion. I haven't been to Haiti. Well, the one thing that I would contribute is this. If it's not already going on, there needs to be a green revolution in Haiti. Haitians need to grow as much food as possible on every piece of ground that they possibly can, because when we look outside and we see that it's about to rain, we grab our raincoat or our umbrella. You know what I mean? We might even get our rubber boots, and the way things are looking in the world economy right now, food is a problem. Even here in the United States, we have it's much different than it was a year ago or a year and a half ago. It's much different. When you used to go in the store and everything was chock-a-block full with whatever you needed, you go and you see a lot of empty spaces now. And so we are preparing over here for that. And we are preparing over here for, the changes in what type of, how we're going to earn our money, because jobs are are starting to require things that, that you subject your body to things that maybe some people don't necessarily want to do. uh there's things are changing in the world, and when you are in a place that's already suffering, you need to have food security together. So I would say to my brothers and sisters there, you know, uh, really push a green revolution, grow food everywhere you can, identify all food sources, and preserve them. Make those things sacred in your environment. But as far as whatever else you need to do, I don't really have an educated opinion because I haven't been there.
I want to add to what you're saying, and it kind of supports the Green Revolution, but there is a lot of plastic in Haiti, and there's a lot of great technology and innovation going on across the world. Some really good projects in Africa, but people are turning plastic into bricks that can build houses, and they're looking into whether or not they can build roads. And without being an expert, I see Haiti being in a great place to be a leader in turning plastic into roads and bricks and things that can build stronger houses. And that's something that's sitting there right now, and by cleaning it up, it only benefits the country. And so I think there's lots of things that can be done again around greenness, as Blaine is saying. I believe a lot of cities can be lit up for instead of thinking about, which would be the first choice, undergrounding utilities or bringing power to the whole country. There's a lot of things that can be done with solar that can charge all day and light up the city at night. There's a lot of infrastructure things that can be done right there, but they can be done from a green way. But my first thing would be to build an economy based off of plastic innovation, because it's there, and cleaning it up not only brings money, but it brings better health and better environment to Haiti.
Wow. Guyan is dog. Welcome and welcome to the live. Nana Adu and Paul Kagang does that a lot. They put their foot down when it comes to their country's resources. Kay Miller says, strength for today, hope for tomorrow. Life in Haiti has great expectations. Give us a like. Why not share with your friends in the world? How about you? Become a subscriber. If anyone who is watching who has yet to subscribe, you all kindly hit the subscribe button. Join us on this journey of love. You all join us, become a subscriber, share the channel with others so that more and more people can get to know about the work in which Life in Haiti is doing. Wendy Fleury, hello. Wilson
That's my cousin. And he's in Port-au-Prince now.
Oh, ok. Bonsoir, Wendy. Comment est? Comment nous y est? Bye bye au créole. Même non, vous parlez créole? Jevan nous parle créole?
Oh, no. Just like 7 broken words.
Je vous entrer dans le classement pour apprendre un petit bagay. You got to come in the class. So I am looking for students, you all, to join my class. If you would like to learn to speak Creole, you're interested, maybe you plan on traveling to Haiti later on and need to be familiar with some words, please contact me directly and we can further discuss it. Mr. Jean says, of course, the kidnapping are controlled by some countries, causing Haiti to be in that condition. France, the U.S., the international community are all involved. So is there something you would like to know about your history, whichever culture you are? Look me up. I teach forensic. All right. When you look at the deforestation in Haiti compared to DR or other islands, it's unbelievable. Satellite images are so sad. The resources are gone from Haiti. Not really, you all. I mean, I'm not sure what it used to be. Living in Haiti now, we do have a lot of resources remain. Haiti is beautiful, as you could see. The background that picture is taken in Haiti in the Capelan area. We have the resources. What we need is the compassion, the heart, the love, the willingness of us, the people, to put our minds together and actually work on seeing this country move forward. We have to be willing to do the work. Those who are in leadership positions, and it has to be work that's for the country. When you look at our history, how we became the first free Black people, there, how we were able to do that, unity. Same thing we need to adapt today. We need unity in the country. Everybody's fighting, but everyone says that they're all fighting for the same thing. Well, if we're all fighting for the same thing, why not put our heads together and create something great? The true revolution begins with unity. Wow. Tony says, I agree 100% about the water. They want us to forget about our culture. Wow. We definitely need a second revolution. It doesn't apply to Marie. Says, is that people? Okay, hold on. I'm looking to see some questions. Princess Born, welcome and welcome. Marie Metalis, welcome. Equity begins with the basic necessities of life: water, electricity, housing. Nora's mission, okay. I'm a missionary. This kind of talk is unsettling. I put my hard-earned money in Haiti. James 1:27. Help. And you are one of the things which you already mentioned, that it doesn't mean because someone make an opinion, I could easily take that as if, the wrong way. But I know I am in the same line of work, and as long as I know that I am doing what I am supposed to do by the community, don't take things personal, because Miss Roberts, your work is needed too. We just need more people, and more people doing it the right way. Do you all agree?
Well,
Absolutely.
I agree, but I'm a little annoyed by the continuance of the conversation. And it's like the comment with white supremacy and then the question marks. It's like we address the missionary thing. It's really not about one person. And this is a challenge. This is a challenge that we have when we're trying to have these freedom conversations. It turns into a conversation that's about one person. Like, if Nora is doing good work, then do the good work. But the whole white supremacy thing with the question marks, like the whole world, we've been on a Black Lives Matter explanation for the last few years. So it's not like we're questioning the principle of white supremacy, or that people, particularly white people, would not understand the concept of white supremacy. I am also a midwife. She mentioned I am also a midwife, and I was also in Haiti a couple of months ago, and I also handed out things to babies. And you know what? I didn't ask one person at all what they believe, what they do. I believe Nora's over there because she wants to do good work, but I also believe there's a lesson in this, and she is helping me manifest what that lesson was. And that's just do the work. Like, we ain't got to have this big conversation back and forth. You're in Haiti because there's a need. Be the answer to the need. Make it be about the Haitian people. Haiti is in the condition it's in because of white supremacy. There's no question about it. There's no sidebar conversation about it. This is an issue of what happens when white supremacy runs rapid over a country. And so just let's acknowledge that. Let's just be there and say the reason why we need missionary help in Haiti is because of the byproduct of white supremacy. Let's do the work. Let's make it about the Haitians. Like, if we want to have a white supremacy conversation, let's do that another time. But it's easy enough to agree on here that if we just want to be fair and true, that there's a lot of missionaries in Haiti, and they have tied education, water, and other natural resources to religion. Not all, some. Don't be part of the problem. And then that's it.
It becomes almost like, and this is not directed towards that person, because first of all, let me say this, guys. I cannot see any of the comments, so I'm not following the comments. I'm only responding to what's read, what I hear read out loud. Okay, but we as a people are often caught up in apologetics about what we have gone through, and what puts us in this condition. And I want to be, absolutely clear that this is not a conversation of apologetics, and if anyone feels that they are offended by the truth, then understand that, this is my opinion. This is Javon's opinion. Is not necessarily the opinion of the platform, but there's no reason for you to try and make us feel uncomfortable about being able to talk about something, with clarity. We just not, we're not going to do that. We're not going to sit up here and make excuses for everything good that people do is appreciated. When it's done with the right intention, everything is appreciated. If you're amongst that group, beautiful, but you have to acknowledge that there are others that have not been doing it for the right reasons and will not do it for the right reasons in the future.
Wow.
Thank you. Ashe.
So we just have to learn, you all, not to take things so personal. And a lot of the times people representing a group can make mistakes, which damages that whole group to the world, But we know we're not gonna speak on negativity. I believe it was a great live. We are well over an hour. Javen, before we go, Mr. Bland, if there's anything that you all would like to share, please share it before we part ways.
Well, if Javon hasn't shown a picture of that book yet, I would really like for her to show that book, because I think that especially our young women, but our men as well, can benefit from the purchase of that book. We have a tremendous issue with self-esteem amongst our young women, and they need to know, what the part that the sisters played in establishing our freedom and giving us this great legacy. And I want to thank you two for living up to that here in this conversation and in the work that you do for people not only in this country but also in Haiti. And I'm very pleased to know y'all.
Thank you so much. Is there anything that you'd like to say, Miss Javen?
Other than I'm just very honored to have had the opportunity to come and speak with you and others on this live. I don't have anything to say. It was fantastic and my joy.
That's right. So thank you all so very much. Y'all have a blessed night, and I'll end up closing out. You're welcome back on the stage at any time. Know that I think it's in our nature that sometimes when we're doing something new, we're discussing something new, it creates that anxiety because we're going into that place which we don't know and we're not used to. But I thank you all so very much. It was a joy having you all on the show tonight.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Oh, I'm sorry. All right, you all. I want to thank each and everyone for joining me tonight on the live. I recently posted a video, you all. Please check out my latest video find it in your heart, you all, to kindly assist in any way in which you can. I'll be back in the upcoming days to discuss it more. I thank each and every one of y'all for sharing the live, joining me, and be bringing more great topics in reference to Haiti. I'm doing a lot more studies. The opinions are different. It's a lot. It's different everywhere you are, but we must know that a lot of people like myself, we're digging to find out what is it going to take to get our country moving? What is it going to take to get us on a path of success, to get us moving, to get us secured? And that's the number one priority with Haiti. Keep Haiti in prayer. We are supposed to be locked down this, I'm pretty sure the first 3-4 days of this coming week. There's no gas. It's just a lot. But I know God is able, and he will definitely take care of everything. So thank you all so very much. Y'all take care. Take care. You all have a blessed night.